Welcome.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
This is your number one podcast for ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties. Bringing you everything you need to know about things that go bump in the night and interviewing the personalities behind them. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Now, here are your hosts, your ghost hosts, Scott and Julie.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Paranormal Project. Julie, welcome back. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Oh, thank you, Scott. I'm much better. Luckily, it was just a cold, but one of those where the voice was going in and out. So, yeah. But good to be back. And I'm so excited because I met the Radikals at the Salem Paracon. Our friend Cindy Long and I happened to go there. And Cindy has known them for a little bit. And it was a great afternoon. So I'm really excited that Lauren and Danny are here today.
Yeah, and don't forget, they investigated with us up in New Hampshire at Stonehenge, which is where I first met them.
Absolutely.
And we had a great experience up there as well. And that's why I said, I'd love to have you guys on the show. And I'm so glad they came. And they brought some things with them.
Yes, they did.
You know how that goes. You know, you just never know. But we're going to talk about some fun little things they have. So let's bring them on out. The Radikals, Lauren and Danny, how are you? Welcome.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi, guys. Welcome.
See you guys. So what have you been up? You have all those beautiful Ouija boards. Did you make all of those?
No. Collection. This one here I made actually, the bat. No, I don't really keep a lot of the ones that I've made. I tend to collect other ones.
Yeah, that makes sense. So tell me, I love this. We talk about this all the time, Julie, about the whole Ouija board thing. What's your feeling on Ouija boards and using them? And
personally, I don't believe in them. I believe the idiomotor effect. It's one of those things. If you believe that you're going to be scared, you're going to be scared. You believe you're going to bring something bad out of it, it's going to be something bad. I mean, the Ouija board was a parlor game. Back in I think it was the 1920s, it was uncouth for a man and a woman to be in a room together. Alone. It was just not something that happened. But if you had this board game, you could sit knee to knee with a female and put the board on your lap, and that was pretty risque. And it didn't really get demonized until The Exorcist in the 70s with talking to Captain Howdy. But I think it's like anything else. If in paranormal investigating, it's a tool. If you use EVPs, you're communicating with the dead the same way you are with a Ouija board. You have to go in with respect. You have to go in with caution. The same way you would with anything else. That's just my opinion, though. What do you think? I agree.
Yeah, you have to show them the respect as you would show anybody else. And using these tools, whether it's a Ouija board or spirit box or anything, you have to show respect to the dead.
Well, it's true.
Absolutely. And I know that talking to Simon and Russ from the UK, they had told us that every team in the UK will have a spirit board specialist.
Right.
And that's exactly what that person does. Yeah. So that's very
Simon and Russ are with Essex Ghost Hunters in the UK. And actually, you don't know, but they are coming on our show together in the end of the spring. They're really a nice couple of guys. So
they're fun. Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. But they do. Julie's right. They have a spirit board person whose job is to do that. That's what they do. They open it up, they close it down. So it's interesting. We just don't use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on top of that, you also have something very interesting. You have a little museum of haunted objects going on there. So how did this come about?
Well, I've been doing it for years now, just helping people out, people that had problems. I was into paranormal investigating and things like that. And it got to the point where people were like, we think this is the problem and we don't want it. Can you take it? Can you, and the collection just started snowballing. Yeah. And then
I married into it. So
yeah. She was already a paranormal investigator as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just blew up. There's things in the attic that Lauren has never even seen. I mean, this
Really?
just we don't have the room.
Right.
Yet.
Yeah, but
What's
in
it
the
like
spring,
in your house at night?
it's tranquil. I think
Quiet.
it's tranquil. Yeah.
It's quiet.
Yeah,
So you
it's
don't
quiet.
think you don't think that they've had an effect on the home and activity and that kind of thing?
What do you think?
Certain items when you bring them in, like it's almost like they have to feel around. They have to, at least get themselves comfortable.
Like a decompression time, I guess.
Yeah, and I think we've had maybe 2 items that have actually, made themselves known. We really haven't had any issues until we started doing renovations.
Yeah, we have had one item though that we couldn't bring in the house because of our dog. If it was in the house, she wouldn't eat, and unless we brought it out of the house, then she was fine. It was weird.
Yeah.
And
and
I
what
brought it
was
in the house. It was a painting of Mephistopheles that the artist, as he was painting it, he sliced his wrist and started painting with his own blood until he died.
Oh dear Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's some bad
Were they
people
running
on that painting.
shortage on red paint or something back there? What is going on?
Red paint is
No
being
idea.
used here.
But we even ran a little experiment. We had her in the bedroom, which she couldn't see what was coming through the main door. Brought it through the main door and put it into the production studio. So she didn't see it come in the house, and the same thing happened. A couple days she wouldn't eat, so it was like that had to stay in the garage. She recently passed, so it's back. It's in the house now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So what do you have with you? I know you brought a little something. Hopefully, it won't like make the whole connection go haywire. But what do you have that we can talk about on the little collection?
There's so many things. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with my favorite.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Lauren, is that your baby picture?
I know, right?
No.
Look like me. Actually, it does.
Kind of, right?
But this is actually an original painting by Giovanni Bragolin, who did the Crying Boy paintings. Which the history is in the 1950s and 60s in England. These were popular. This Giovanni Bragolin actually painted street urchins and emphasized on the eyes, the crying, and most homes that these paintings or prints were in burned to the ground. The only thing left was the painting.
Was the painting, yeah.
Really?
And so, yeah. So this actually is a rare one because it is a crying girl.
Yeah, he didn't paint too many crying girls. We got a phone call from an art dealer down in New Jersey who had this in her.
It smells like smoke.
It does smell like smoke, yeah. She had this in her storage area. And she's like, listen, I'd love to display it in my gallery, but I'm too afraid. And I'm starting to get really good stuff in my storage area. So I'm getting afraid keeping it in there. Would you guys take it off our hands? So we're like, yeah, sure. Went and got it. And she's like, I'm really sorry. It smells like smoke, but the place I got it from burnt to the ground except for the painting.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep it next to the pellet stove.
Next to the pellet stove. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
You know.
But this is one of the items that when we took it into the home 2 days later, I heard a little girl say mama.
I was at work. I worked the night shift.
Wow.
So I was home alone. And I heard that. My children are all in their late 20s, early 30s, and our grandchildren do not come here. So where did that come from?
Right.
That
Now,
is
do you have any kind of protection around these items when you bring them into your home? Do you do anything?
No, I don't for the most part. She does.
I sage.
She sages when I'm not here. Yeah. But no, I don't. I've been doing it for years and never used any protection except for respect.
Okay.
I was approached by a shaman who said, you're a protector. It's what you're supposed to do. It's your First Nation blood.
First Nation blood, yeah.
And she's like, you probably work in healthcare. And I was like, holy crap, I do. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, she sages.
I sage.
The funny thing is I'm a paranormal skeptic to some degree. I mean,
we're getting there.
We're getting there. I mean, like, if you say you saw something and you heard something, I believe you. I just wish I was there to experience it with you.
I understand.
The odd thing is say like I think it was like a week after this painting came in the house, I was listening to a podcast after work, and I heard a little girl like talking, and I had to stop the podcast because I thought it was on the podcast. Right. Nothing else in the house was on. I rewinded it. I played it like 4 times. Nothing. It wasn't there. And our neighbors don't have any children, and our neighbors we're far apart from the neighbors. Yeah. I mean, you know, you throw a rock, you're barely going to get to the yard.
Mm-hmm. So, and then he asked me, how old was the child that you heard? He said about 4 or 5.
That's about the age that I heard. But I couldn't make out what she was saying.
But he's still skeptic.
I was just going to say, but you're still a skeptic. Okay. So that leads me to a question. You are a paranormal investigator. Have you seen anything that makes you say, maybe there is something to this? Or are you just, a complete and total, no, I just haven't found the answer to it yet?
I haven't found the total answer to it yet, but yes, I have run across things that I could not explain. Is it because I'm just too scientifically stupid? I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to think that it's pretty possible. I mean, we were just at the Concord Colonial Inn, and some strange things happened there. We slept in the morgue area, and
well, of course,
there's some things like I couldn't explain, but things that happened. I mean, we had the camera faced at the bed and bathroom of the room, and we woke up, it was facing the door.
Really?
And then we heard a knock on the door, but there was nobody there. I mean, I heard it. It was there. I can't explain it. So I'm starting to come around to thinking, there could be something to this.
Also, we have had multiple times that we're sitting on the couch and we see shadows.
I do see shadows now.
We never saw shadows until we started doing renovations in the house. The former owner, he put a shotgun in his mouth and pulled the trigger in our actually right where we're sitting, basically.
Yeah, right in the parlor, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of missed a little bit.
You must have got the house at a great discount.
It was a really good discount, yeah.
I'm saying there's an upside to everything, right?
Yeah.
The poor man. I am certainly not making jest of suicide. No, definitely not.
He did woodworking, and when we started doing renovations this year, we started changing out some of the fixtures that he custom built, and we started seeing these shadows.
Yeah, shadows going back and forth, where we kind of look at each other. Our dog, towards the end, was almost blind and deaf, and she saw her.
But she would look, she would stare, and it's like, what are you looking at?
At night when he's at work, I'd be laying in bed, and I can hear boots walking across the kitchen floor. I can hear rapping on the walls. And I just kind of sit up and I'm like, Pete, will you cut the crap? I got to go to sleep. I got to work in the morning. Yeah. And he stops.
We live out in the boonies, so
there's nobody around.
Yeah. I don't know. It's strange.
We should come investigate your house. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
oh yeah.
You'd be the first.
Well, actually,
really? You don't investigate your house? No, you live there. Of course you don't.
Right.
Yeah. What we're going to do in the spring, we're moving everything from the house. We have a 3-car garage outside that we're converting into a museum. And so everything is going to be in there. We're going to bring stuff out of the attic. We're going to have it all on display. We're going to have a paranormal research lab as well, where people can grab pieces and do research on them.
Certain items.
Yeah. So yeah, we'd love to have you guys over. That'd be
definitely.
a blast.
Oh, okay.
That would be fun.
We will after the show. We will talk about setting up a date. That would be very cool.
That would be great.
We would love that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at our messages, and Robert Hask.
Let me put it up so everyone can see.
Yeah.
Bob Hask.
Oh, hey.
Tell us about your own investigation. Oh, okay. All right. So what he's talking about is we actually, it was a residential case that we were doing. This woman was seeing apparitions in the yard, in the house, everywhere, and she was frightened. Obviously,
she was really seriously, really
freaked
terrified.
out. And so she called the day before we were supposed to go to make sure that we were still coming. Danny talked to her. Yes, we'll be there. No problem. So we get up there. There's no one home. Now, to give you an idea, the house was up on a hill.
About 3/4 of a mile from the road, the driveway.
Right. Dirt road. It looked like you were doing like that movie Wrong Turn, or Hills Have Eyes, or
it was really sketchy.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was just creepy.
All the hair on your neck and arms just stood up immediately as soon as you got on the property. And what happened?
Come to find out, she
wasn't home.
She wasn't home because she was in the hospital. She was in the hospital at the emergency room because she was having mini strokes. So Danny, being the researcher that he is, he saw that when there's sometimes like an attachment or something's trying to take a hold of someone, that it can cause mini strokes. Every time I would talk to her afterwards, it would hang up the phone. I would have to call her 3 or 4 times just to talk and get the full sentence, full conversation out.
And we were both on landline, so it wasn't cell phone. It was, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's the thing we do. A lot of what's that?
Did you ever find out what was going on there? I mean, did you ever get a chance?
Oh, that was.
It's still
it's kind of still developing.
It's kind of still we're still keeping in contact with her because we've already been there twice. We've brought in friends of ours, our friend Jeremy, and he's a sensitive and a paranormal investigator. We needed more eyes on the situation.
We did a banishment and things like that, and grounding for her as well.
Yep. Holy water.
Things
everything.
They've been level right now, so we're just kind of keeping an eye out. I mean, it was really strange.
It's one of those ones that makes you scratch your head.
We kind of think it's not really the house or anything like that. It's more so her.
But also I feel it's the land.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
She hit her head as a child, and ever since then she could see things that no one else saw. So it's all right.
We were talking about that, and Lauren, right before you said you think it's the land, I was just thinking I think there's something on the land. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Probably I'm just thinking if you can find someone, let's say a shaman, they may be able to help with the land, help cleanse the land. Sometimes they can't. It's just too old. But if you said a shaman, I'm thinking they may be helpful in that situation.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Danny does something unique to our team. 98% of our team is Wiccan. The name of the team is MassCon Paranormal. I started it with my daughter in 2015. But what he does is he will take an offering, a tobacco offering. He has a peace pipe that he got from a chief.
Yeah.
From a chief.
When I was studying.
When he was studying Native American religion and everything like that.
What I'll do is I'll make an offering to the grandfathers and things like that, and a tobacco offering and to offer peace. And I don't know if it helped or not, but she seems...
It quieted down a little bit.
A lot.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it has to play out.
Jimmy.
So, hey, Jimmy, it plays out during time, and you just got to keep contact and vigilance. And, because like most of the stuff that we do, our investigations, I'd say 98% are residential.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which are always so interesting. You don't know what you're walking into.
We use a 14-page questionnaire, though, that we prep them ahead of time to go through everything. So we know what we're walking into in a sense, You know, it touches all different aspects, whether, the religions and things like that. Because, I mean, if they're Jewish, then we're going to try to bring in a rabbi if we need, I mean,
Right.
their faith and their belief, we believe is, very pivotal to the outcome of the problem.
Right.
And however we can get to that point, that's what we need to do.
I mean, we even have a priest, an exorcist on speed dial on our phones. If we need to go down any route, we'll do it. We've actually brought him in on a case that we did in Marlborough, and we ended up going there about 5 times because it was so active.
And ever since, everything's been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So what if somebody doesn't have a religious affiliation? They're just, either atheist or agnostic. They're not connected to anything and don't have a belief system. What would you do for someone like that?
Well,
we
do exactly what we normally do as a team, minus the religious aspect to it.
Right.
And hopefully they believe in what we do and the outcome of it. I mean, belief in anything is just, the mind is fantastic. I mean, as an example, my ex-wife, we were driving home from a place and she had a crazy migraine. And me being scientific and skeptic and into the whole mind thing.
And sarcastic.
So I was like, listen, and she seriously did have a really bad migraine. And you could tell the lights, everything was bugging her. And I felt horrible. But I was looking for some kind of solution that was quick and simple. So I said, listen, check your Arby's cup, your soda from Arby's. And I knew they had round ice cubes. I was like, it needs to be round ice cubes. Are they round ice cubes? She opens it up. She's like, yeah, it is. Oh, my God, this is great. What did you do? I said, you're going to take a handful of these round ice cubes. You're going to put them on your forehead and count 5 seconds. And then you're going to scream at the top of your lungs, the loudest you ever did. And then it'll just go away. She did the exact thing and it went away. And I never told her that I just made the whole thing up. She could still be doing it.
It's that whole placebo effect.
That's it. It's the placebo. Yes.
It was the belief. She believed in it and it worked. And the only thing to me that mattered was the outcome.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely agreed. I mean, I believe it's all about intention. And Lauren, as a Wiccan, I'm sure you understand that completely. What you go in with is all about intention. If I go in, with my white light and basically that's my protection, my golden shower is my protection. I feel as though I'm going to be protected. And I have that feeling so strong that no matter whatever is going to try to get through, it's just going to bounce off of that because that's my intention.
Right.
Okay. And I'm actually not Wiccan. I'm actually just spiritual. I believe in whatever helps. I am working with my friend and mentor to we both are actually working on our sensitive and psychic abilities and stuff like that. Intuitions and dreams. And stuff.
Have you always been sensitive and you're trying to heighten it, or you're not really?
I didn't come into it until I was 34 when I had my first heart attack and they lost me on the table.
Wow.
That I've heard that so many times from so many people. Honestly, it does something. Absolutely does something. I mean, I was born a psychic empath, always have had the ability growing up, but I did also cross over during a surgery. And since I've come back, it's been so much stronger.
Yeah. I've been dabbling into it and trying to learn more because I've had this thing with dreams all my life where they tend to come true. I've had a friend who was like, listen, I had a dream you had a kid, and he's like, we didn't tell anybody yet. And yeah, that was really weird. And it gets really strange. Was it 3 years ago? 4 years ago. She woke up and she found me on the kitchen floor crying. I was curled up in the ball because what had happened is I had a dream during the night. My ex-father-in-law was, he was laying in a hospital bed and I was talking with him and he's like, remember that car you worked on and stuff? And I was like, yeah, we're just, just talking and bantering. And he's like, goes like this. He's like, it's my heart. It's my heart, man. And he points over to the corner and he's like, you see Phil? Phil was his son. He's like, you need to keep an eye on him for me, okay? And I'm like, yeah, sure. in my dream, we talked for about 2 hours. I don't know how long it really was, but I woke up. Everything was fine. Around 6 a.m., I look on Facebook, and his sister-in-law posted that he passed away from a heart attack. And I could not process that physically. I was just, it didn't make sense to me. How could this, I've had these little dreams, but this was huge. And yeah, she found me on the floor crying, and I was just like, wow. I contacted his sister-in-law, and she said, yeah, he came to you because you would listen. I don't know.
He wanted you to take care of his son. That was
the message.
And that was the strength that came through, is that, we call them dreams, but they're sometimes premonitions, or they are a way for us to connect to someone on the other side.
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And you know something, Danny? I mean, so we're all kind of in the same boat, and we all get stuff differently, and in very, very different ways. I mean, Julie has her own set of gifts that I don't have, and yet I do other things. I mean, it's funny, and you'll find that you take with you whatever it is that you're given, and it may be something that nobody else on your team has. It's really interesting how we can all have this sensitivity, and it can be so different from one person to another.
Wild.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Danny, I understand that you met Ed and Lorraine Warren at one point.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that.
They were doing a lecture at the University of Connecticut, mid-90s, late 90s, I don't remember, but went there, and it was fantastic. It was incredible. Talked to them after, and they were like talking to my grandparents. It was really cool. And I was telling them about the interest that I had. I loved doing EVPs, even though I didn't know they were called EVPs at the time. They were just recordings of the dead or whatever, mystery recordings. And they invited me over, oh, you should come over. We'll watch some of the footage that I got from this other case and stuff like that. And it was wild. I mean, it was weird. She had a chicken in her kitchen. It was a live chicken.
Wow.
And she was an animal lover, Lorraine, and I was just like, not to be rude or anything, but you have a chicken in your kitchen. And her reply was so simple. Well, it's cold outside.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. So did that further your interest?
Realizing that what they did to help people. And so it's like, I want to help people.
Yeah. That's what we do.
So that's what we do. We never charge for anything that we do, and we try to do residential as much as possible.
Right. And the other thing is too, is that the items that are in the house are not ours. Right. They're here for safekeeping. If the people who gave them to us want them back, they're more than welcome to have them back.
Mm-hmm.
We just warehouse them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Does anyone ever send you things in the mail, or just drop them at your doorstep and ring the bell and run away?
Oh, not the UPS man, right?
Oh no, yeah. Well, we had the UPS man. He throws the packages at the house now. We had to put a warning on the front door because we need to let people know before they come in what to expect. We've had someone pass out when they walked in, and they didn't know why. They were very psychically inclined. So we're like, we need to put up a warning for safety measures. And after we did that, the UPS guys, they just throw the stuff at the house. They don't even come up. But I mean,
it could be the hearse in the driveway.
The hearse in the driveway could be the problem too. I don't. But yes, we do get mystery packages every once in a while where someone is like, take this. Actually, I got a Ouija board that way. It was the burnt one.
Oh, yes.
I got that in the mail, and it was like, please, the person that was using it committed suicide. We tried to burn it and bury it, and so it was like, we never know what we're gonna get.
But it didn't burn. It melted a little bit. The planchette melted a little bit, and you could see like the burn marks on it, but it was not burned.
Yeah. And then they tried to bury it for a while, but then their water started smelling like sulfur. I don't know.
God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: you get an object, And do you just bring it right in the home, or do you have like a place that you bring it to cool down and watch it a little bit? So before you bring it in,
I just bring it in the house and find a nice little spot for it where I think
you
it'll
buy
be
the
comfortable.
nightstand, you know.
Yeah.
It's usually in the parlor here. We have, and
He'll give me a heads up beforehand.
yeah,
But
like, hey, a package came in. Yeah, just so you know, here's the backstory.
yeah. So if you feel something when you come in, don't worry. I'm like,
I figured, with the respect that we use,
yeah,
hopefully everything will be good. And if not, well, when I'm not here, she sages and whatever. So
yeah, I just did some Palo Santo. What was it, Sunday night?
okay,
Well, Monday morning, 2:30 in the morning.
whatever works.
So what else have you got in your little bag? Do you have anything else here we can see? Something that'll make the cameras flicker?
Take it out. She's grabbing it now.
Oh boy.
Turn it the other way. Yeah.
I'm like being very careful if you can't tell.
Oh, that's
This
real.
is a human stuff. Yeah, we've got this from we got a phone call about this piece. They're like, you need to come get this now. This was used in black magic rituals. You'll see this piece that's missing from the skull. Well, that was fashioned into a sacrificial dagger and used. That dagger has never been found, but yeah. So this is usually freaks everybody out. What's that?
I'm getting the willies on when I'm not even with you in the same room.
When you turned it to face the camera, that getting goosebumps. Yes.
But
wow.
It's from like an adolescent person.
It's definitely adolescent, yeah.
Between teenage to maybe 20s, if that.
Is that what they say, really?
Yeah. It was actually originally a medical specimen. It's got the hooks on it and everything. It came from more likely a university or something like that, but from there is when it took its dark passage.
Oh, it was a medical. Okay, all right. So it's not, like somebody was they dug somebody up or anything.
No, it wasn't dug up. It's got all, it's cut correctly and things like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just it's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
We've had someone scream when we brought it out one time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Salem.
In Salem. They're like, oh my God.
But, yeah. And that was just a phone call. We never know what the call's going to be or whatever. It's always an adventure.
Yeah. So I'm also in the process of learning psychometry.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
The first time that I put this in my hands, actually it's doing it right now. My hands vibrate. It was vibrating in my hands, which I thought was really weird. So
yeah.
Wow. And have you picked anything up on it, Lauren, through your psychometry?
Not really, not that piece. We do have a piece that I've only held a few times and it wasn't good.
She almost passed out when she held the other piece.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was in the middle of a presentation as well, so it wouldn't have been good if she would have hit the floor.
Yeah, no.
Eesh.
Is that a thing?
Looks like your friend wants to see the board. I remember this from Salem.
That's
And
where
he
we were
has it
going.
right there.
Yes.
Oh.
This is a fork that came from the apartment of Jeffrey Dahmer and was in the apartment when he was charged for cannibalism.
And murder.
Yeah, murder and cannibalism. Now, a lot of his stuff, most of his stuff was, you okay?
Yeah.
I'll move it over.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Most
I'm
of his
just
stuff was
studying
destroyed.
right here, Lauren. Wow. Wow.
Most of his stuff was, it was destroyed. But the fork, once they realized cannibalism was in effect, became crime scene evidence. So it couldn't be destroyed. So it went into police lockup for many, many, many years. And last year, this was released to his father, Lionel, who's still alive. And he wanted nothing to do with it. So a high-profile collector came in and grabbed it and contacted me and said, hey, you interested? And I'm like, well, I'm not. They call it murderabilia. It's not really my thing. But I do want to study, like she said, with psychometry, how things retain energy. That's supernatural. You know, that's so it's like, well, let's get it, and this way we can study it. We can see the vibrations that it gives off. Does it have a past and whatnot?
Sorry.
So we haven't gotten there yet, but that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Did you frame that? I mean, you framed it, or it came that way?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I framed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do have, you know, I mean, the certificate of authenticity of how it was acquired, and the police reports and all that stuff. And yeah, from Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment.
Yikes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, when we go to visit, if they ask us if we want dinner, we've already eaten.
Yes, right. We'll bring our own silverware. Thank you very much.
There is a little side story here.
Yeah.
We were doing a convention in Sleepy Hollow, New York, and we had just recently, like days before, acquired the fork, and we had displayed it, and it was 2:00 in the morning. And we were in the hotel room, and we had leftover Chinese food, but no utensils. So I'm sitting there at the desk, and Lauren's on the bed, and I'm like, I really want to eat this. And I'm holding the fork, and she's like, no.
Oh,
No.
My fingers.
Of all the bad ideas in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing is what you can't see is on the back of the fork, there is what looks like a rust-colored spot.
But it's not rust.
It's not rust.
Ooh,
See,
a little
the thing is-
DNA back there.
Yeah.
Did they ever
So
do
when
DNA on it? They must have at some point. Or no,
I would imagine they must have done DNA on it to
Yeah.
match it up to, But
They didn't clean
whatever's
it,
on the
so-
back is still, it's still there.
Yeah.
So it was like, the temptation was there, but I was like, you know what, I'll just use my fingers.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
No, thank you.
Exactly, Scott.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just makes my skin crawl. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel was asking something about the Salem Paracon chair. Is that what it was?
Oh, okay.
What
Yes.
was that?
Rachel King, the Candle Witch, she and Jimmy Petitino,
Jimmy P.
we were actually up on stage talking about
Oh,
some
that's
items,
right.
and this woman in the audience she was not a heavy woman, but her chair literally folded underneath her, and she hit the ground
Hard. Like it took people to bring her up off the floor.
At least 3.
Yeah.
And Rachel saw it, and Jimmy P saw it.
I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, well, I saw what she had written. That,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it was
bad.
Yeah, and she was a small woman.
Yeah, she was.
And the chair just folded up on her while she was on it. I mean, I don't know how the hell that happened, but it was pretty wild. Everyone's like, "It's your stuff."
Yeah.
It's him.
Stuff
him.
does happen. I will tell you an interesting story. Since this is a very macabre group, I'm going to share this with you. So you know my history, right? That I too drove a hearse for almost 40 years.
Right.
Yes. And pulled up at a house one day. The police had called. There was an unattended death, and they wanted us to go into the home. So I walked in. They said she's in the bedroom. I walked in the bedroom, couldn't find her. I walked back out. I said, "Excuse me, but where?" "Come with me." So we walked down the hall. We went back into the bedroom, and the only thing in there was a bed, a nightstand. The bed wasn't made. And then there was a folding cot in the corner. And if you looked, you could see her big toe sticking out of the folding cot. And she was a string bead. I mean, there was nothing to her, but she must have been in that bed and it went, boop.
Wow.
That's it. And
Like
so,
those old chairs that we used to sit outside in, the old ones with the plastic.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. That would fold right up on you. Yes. First you'd get stuck to it because you're sitting in this 98-degree sun on the beach. Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
crazy stuff.
Yeah,
I
actually, almost had 2.
I went to go pick up Lauren at work one day. Was it snowing or something like that?
Yeah, he had dropped me off in my car, and he came back with his.
I came back in my car, which is the hearse, and she works at a hospital, and I'm waiting because she's not out yet. And the security guys were like, hey, come on, it's over here. And I was like, no, pickup is over here. Pickup is over here. You can't be over there. And I'm like, I'm picking up my wife. She's alive.
She works here.
Yeah.
So they were going to try to load a couple bodies in the car. They thought,
Oh my
I
God.
was.
Yep.
That
And
was,
they're still talking about it.
yeah.
I would think.
That's awesome.
It always draws attention when you drive around in a hearse. Doesn't matter where you are. You're on the highway, wherever, people stop and gawk all the time.
Yeah.
Always.
And the respect that people show is amazing.
I love the fact that you get a little more respect driving a hearse than you do a regular car. It's nice. People, go ahead.
It's nice to see. Sometimes people would cut you off, but most often, I remember one day we were driving and there was a little boy who was probably 10, I don't know. And he had a baseball hat on. And as soon as we went by, took his hat off and held it like this. And I thought, now that's a good kid. That he was taught right. The good respect.
Wow.
It's
Well,
nice.
the weird thing is that if you ask our grandsons about Pepe's car, it's not a hearse. It's Pepe's camper.
There
Yes.
you go.
You remember, Herman Munster used to drive around in one of those things too when he came back from the parlor where he used to work.
Right.
Yeah.
He did.
Oh
It's
my
the hint.
God.
It's the hit of the town.
Anything we do.
When I go to the landfill,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, oh God, they're like, what? Well, no, we don't
We
take
don't
that.
take that here.
That
We
kind
don't
of
take
trash.
that
We
here.
take.
Oh my
But
God.
if you go on their website on Facebook, their cover picture is actually Danny with the hearse.
Throwing trash out of the back.
Oh, that's great.
There was a little caption that someone had wrote, anyone in town missing?
Now, see, I'd have to wrap my trash up in bags and then duct tape them to make them look, long bags and spread out the back of the hearse.
I may do that on Friday.
There you go. Take pictures.
God, don't encourage him. I think he has enough of his own ideas going
think so,
on there.
too.
Lauren's
I
like,
think
oh
so,
dear
too.
Lord, what next?
I tell them, I say, if it has to do with the museum, it has to do with anything doing with Ouija boards, anything like that, go for it.
Make it happen.
There you go.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So going to Salem's Witchboard Museum is dangerous for us.
Yeah, because they sell stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm 15 minutes. I'm in Peabody, which is on the border.
Oh.
Yeah.
Speaking of
That's my
landfills.
favorite haunt. My weekend haunt, I don't have anything to do this weekend. I'll just go to Salem, walk around, have a walkabout in Salem.
There you go.
That's fun.
Yeah. I'm actually probably an eighth of a mile from the Proctor House on Lowell Street in Peabody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I have searched and searched before. Apparently, there's a new owner, but at one point, it was pretty, you could tell no one was taking care of the yard or anything else, and I knew what it was. So I sort of looked around to see if there was any place I could quietly pull off of Lowell Street, which is kind of a main street, to just peek over in there. And there was just no place to do that, unfortunately. I'm just so curious.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's just and I think Adam Berry that's where Adam Berry's going again, right? To
Yes.
the tune of how much? $500 to investigate?
$500 a person. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, way definitely not in my price range. So
No.
maybe I'll
Definitely
just
not.
go and stand across the street and watch. I'm one of the poor neighbors. I'm down at the condos in Ledgewood. Don't mind me. I just have my recorder, my mail meter, but you don't have to invite me in. So what have you guys have coming up? Do you have any Paracons or things like that happening soon?
What do we have coming up, Lauren?
Let us know.
Okay. May 13th and 14th, we are in Estonia, Connecticut.
Okay,
right?
yeah, I think so.
May 20th.
Don't we have one in March?
Do we?
she takes care of all the booking and stuff like that. I don't know. She just like go there and I go.
Yeah.
We have the
I have calendar.
the USS Salem Paracon.
Yes. So March. No, we don't have anything
Nothing in March. Okay.
No. April, no. Just birthdays.
Okay. May
we have the Paracon, like I said, the Paracon in Estonia.
in Sonia, Connecticut.
In Sonia,
Yep.
sorry. And then the 20th and the 21st will be on the USS Salem with we have actually a whole room in there.
Yeah, we're gonna bring
on
a
the
bunch of
ship.
stuff from the museum.
And we're going to bring a bunch of stuff. And we're actually speaking at both of those, I believe.
Yeah, both of those events
Yeah.
will be speaking.
You weren't there last year. We were set up there last year.
Yeah, we went there just as guests and roamed around the ship. It was a
Okay.
blast.
Oh, so much fun.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think we're just going to do that this year. We didn't get a table or anything, so we're just going to go for the day. But we're actually going the weekend before. Jeff Bellinger is hosting something there on the 13th, May 13th. He's doing a talk and then an investigation. So, yeah, so this year we just said we didn't buy a table, but we definitely have to go for a day. So we'll definitely look for you guys.
Oh,
We'll be there.
Yeah.
And then September starts all of it.
Yeah. So
We've got Sleepy Hollow, Paracon. We'll be speaking at that one. We have the Mass Paracon, which is with Sam Beltrusis. And we are bringing some of our items that Friday night for the VIP party and speaking then.
Oh, we'll be there Saturday, Scott. That's the one we have tickets for, Saturday night.
Right. Saturday night. Yep.
Yep. Down in Plymouth. Yes.
Yes. And then the big one, which is the mother of all Paracons that we do, is the Warrens.
Mohegan Sun.
Yeah, Mohegan Sun.
Yeah.
This will be our third year with them, hopefully.
Yeah. And then we end the year in Salem Con.
Yes.
In November.
Yeah. In November we have the Salem.
Oh,
Now have you been to Michigan at all?
No, not yet. I'd love to make it out to that con out there.
That's on my
Julie and
bucket
I
list.
both went in August, I guess, and it's a nice Paracon. It's big.
Yeah.
You know.
Got a couple friends that are speaking this year out there. We'd love to make it, but getting time off from work.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But we are hopefully going to be going as not just as patrons, is to Gettysburg Battlefield Bash this year.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah. Never been
Is that
to
in
Gettysburg.
July?
It's actually the 14th to the 16th. My birthday weekend.
Oh, happy
Nice.
birthday in Gettysburg. I've been once to investigate. I went with my friend Barbara, and I mean, it was just absolutely amazing. You know, we investigated the Farnsworth, the Jenny Wade house, the battlefield. I'd love to get back. Absolutely love to get back.
So I went for the first time, 3 years ago?
2-3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago. Actually,
3 years ago.
3 years ago. And we had an experience that both left us. We got to Gettysburg at night, sunset, and we put headlamps on. His was brighter than mine. But we went up on top of, there's a monument above Devil's Den?
Devil's Den, yeah.
Above Devil's Den.
Yes.
And we're kind of looking across the way, and there's this flashing light. And so, of course, Danny goes, send pizza.
Yeah, I'm doing some messaging, send some pizza. Come on, we're over on this side. Just joking around kind of thing. And it was funny.
It was funny at the time.
And then the next day, we went to the other side of Devil's Den and realized that there was a plaque there that they used to go on that side and use signaling with lights to get to the people on the other side. And we're like, what the hell did we see?
Yeah, it was just like, okay, was somebody messing with us, or did we actually see something?
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
So,
oh, I'm sure you saw something. I mean, I've been to a lot of places, and honestly, Gettysburg is the most active place I've ever been to. Anywhere in Gettysburg, you just walk the streets. It's just crazy there.
Yeah.
I've never felt someplace that was so solemn. I mean, it's just so, I can't even describe it.
Lauren and Dan, we have about 4 minutes left, if you can believe it. We've just kind of like flown through the hour. So I just want to give you just a minute. If people need help, what should they do? Can they reach you?
You have the thing, right?
What thing? I don't have anything.
All right. So you can contact us. Help me.
Email. Yeah.
Email. It's help me
at the radikals.org.
Yep.
And it's radikals with a K, RADIKALS.
Yep.
.org.
.org. We have a website, www.theradikals, again with a K.org, or they can call us.
Call us, and the phone number is.
Oh my God, I forgot the phone number. I never call myself. What's the phone number? Hold on, she may have a card. No, she don't have a card.
No, I don't have a card.
Yes,
we do.
Oh, she's got a card. I never call myself.
It's okay. I don't know my phone number either. Like you say, I never call myself.
Okay, it is 424-666-SICK.
What's that?
Yes, that is real.
What's
666.
666. There you go.
And of course, I pick up the card, and there's this one on the back.
Oh, it's reversed.
Oh.
Candle.
So there's your number right on the bottom of the screen. If anybody needs it, the Radikals, 424-6666. That's awesome. Next week, we are going to be talking with Rob Stackowitz from Get Haunted. He is coming on the show, going to talk about all the stuff he's got going on and his experience. He's got some really interesting experiences he had at the Conjuring House. So we're going to be talking with Rob. And the week after is going to be John Zaffis, the godfather of paranormal, is coming on our show. So we've got a good couple of weeks lined up and looking forward to that. So we're going to have a great time. And I got to tell you, we still have 2 minutes left, but I've had such a good time tonight. This has been a very different show than we typically do. It's been a lot of chat, which I love, and we always do that. But we usually don't have like show and tell, and that's kind of cool.
Well, like I said, we're going to be opening up the museum in the public in the spring, late spring
of this year,
and then of this year, hopefully, yes,
good.
we're and may tailor into summer, but we're shooting for late spring. And then in the fall, we're looking at opening up what we call a Dead and Breakfast, where we'll have different horror-themed Dead and Breakfast. We'll have different horror-themed cottages throughout the yard, like the Psycho Shack and the Halloween hut, where you can spend the night. And the house will be open as well, and you can use the paranormal lab and talk to Pete in the house here. So
there's still a blood stain on the floor.
They couldn't get it out.
They couldn't get it out.
So yeah.
Yikes.
It'll be interesting.
Yes.
It'll be a good time.
And all kinds of good food.
So are you going to stay there? Are you moving? Or are you staying in the house and?
Oh no, we'll stay.
Yeah, we'll
you are going to stay there. Yep. So.
So it'll be a good time. Yes. All right.
Great time.
Wow.
Awesome. Have you ever been to? I don't know if you've been to Vegas and been to Zach Bagans' museum, but that's kind of what, big old home with lots of like creepy stuff in it. Be cool.
Yeah,
look sometime.
Never been. I've been to Vegas, but never been to his place. So check it out.
I don't know when was that? Like a couple almost
right
2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say no. It was during COVID.
It was 21, I think 2021.
Yeah, my life is like pre-COVID and post-COVID. I don't know.
Well, it was mid-broken shoulder that time, so that's why you didn't make it. She got chased by a demon on the USS Salem and went down, and that was the end of the trip for her. So.
No, I was chasing a demon. No.
Okay.
Don't make me out to be a wimp. I was chasing a demon.
Listen, everybody, thank you so much for being on the show. We've run out of time. We'll see you next week with Rob Stackowitz. Thank you to Lauren and Danny, the Radikals. Thank you to Julie. It's been a fantastic show, and I have enjoyed this conversation immensely. We'll see you soon, and so long, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks.
You have been listening to The Paranormal Project with Scott Allen and Julie Finn. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. While you're there, leave us a rating and review so others can find out about the show. Stay haunted and go out there and explore the paranormal.